Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Free Season 2 Eternal Summer, Episode 4. So, we're finally back with another reaction to Free. See, with Friday and everything, with this being a Friday reaction, it has been 3 weeks since we last reacted to Free. And I don't know why I've been putting this one off compared to other things so much. It's not like I dislike it, but I don't know, for some reason, I've just been putting it off. I can't even say. I don't know. But thanks to our new weekly schedule, every Friday will be a new episode of Free. And so, yeah, we will make sure that we actually get to it. So, I'm trying to remember exactly. Oh, yeah. Last we left off, Nagisa started getting worried when Ray was having some issues showing up for meetings, and he was just not around too often. He was avoiding them after, like, during their free time and all. And so, excuse me. After some investigation, they found out that Ray was practicing, that he was training to become better at other types of swimming besides just the butterfly. And he was actually doing it. He was actually becoming better, which is great to see. It's wonderful character development seeing him want to improve himself past just that one note thing he already knows. But there was a lot of like typical anime misunderstandings, like thinking he had a secret girlfriend or something. Um, and it was silly, but in the end, it ended up being a good episode for Ray, and once again developing him really well, working with um, God, my name is blanking on his name. Oh my God, I know I watched this for a few weeks, but geez. Um, the red-haired guy who uh, who was a big focusing on getting redeemed in season one. I can't remember his name for the life of me. It'll most likely be said during the episode, but still, like, geez. Um, don't you hate it when that happens when your mind just completely blanks out on something? um, doesn't help that I have not been awake long as well, so my mind's a little fuzzy still at the moment. Um, I'll be good for reacting. It's just little fuzzy on remembering details like that. But yeah, either way, I am excited to get back into this because there's a lot of promise for this season with like the new characters introduced and all, and I really want to see where this goes because, like I had said plenty in the past, season one surprised me by how good it was. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. Hell, I didn't expect to like it that much at all. I expected to drop it. I hoped I wouldn't, but I expected it to. And I ended up loving it. It's not my favorite anime or anything, but still. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Um, oh, excuse me. And hopefully it just ends up being really good. So let's just get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in three, two, one, now. This was a really good one. This was really good, and I feel like every time I end up putting a series off for a few weeks or whatever, for whatever reason, every time that happens, it's like we come back and it's like, oh, suddenly really good episode that really gets me reinvigorated and gets me back into the hype of it all. Which I mean, hey, that's good. I can appreciate that. Um, so there were two main focuses in this episode, and let's start with honestly what I think was the B plot in this. As funny enough as it is, I think the B plot was actually the one that was focusing on the Iwatobi Swim Club, while the A plot was the Shimeza. I can never remember exactly how to pronounce that one, but you know, Reen's club. It's like Shimeza or Shimeheza or Shihimeza or something like that. I don't know. But let's start with the B plot again, as I call it, the B plot. So Go is trying to get everybody up to snuff in terms of their diets because, well, they are athletes and they need to keep up a proper diet in order to improve on their bodies to keep going as swimmers. It's just, it is a natural thing to think about. Their diets are important to how their bodies are properly in shape for their sport. So, yeah, um, we get a view on how all of them eat, and every single one of them are unbalanced. Like Haru is just way too simple with his fish and rice. Nagisa is just like he's just eating sweet bread, and it's like, dude. uh, Ray was actually the best out of all of them. He had like this vegetable medley with rice and stuff, which is good, but he had no protein there. He had no high sense of protein, no meats or anything, um, which did still leave it unbalanced. And Makoto, meanwhile, had all meats pretty much. So they had to try and figure out a way to like get a meal plan going, get some more training plans and stuff. And they ended up meeting together where Ray actually came up with this big plan for it and everything. Go came up with a big plan, but they ended up being visited by Coach Sasabe, who brought them this really calorically dense pizza. And it's like, you know what? We're gonna start our diet off with a cheat day. Let's get things started. Have something really good, really not the best for you, but just start things off that way, just to kick us into that diet. And that's actually a really smart idea that a lot of people do. A lot of people like before they go on a diet or before they do whatever, like in terms of that um for shaping and helping their body and everything. Even when not like athletes or whatnot, they'll start a lot of times with a cheat day. They'll just like go like really hard or just get some really good bad for you food and then really kick off the diet after that. Um, it's just a common thing that I've seen and heard about, and hell, even to a point, done at points. Even though I haven't done diets much at all, I know you can't tell, right? No, but seriously, it's like I've tried a couple of diets here and there, and it's like that kind of stuff just does not work for me. Um, but yeah, like that's how I would begin them as well, like like having something really good beforehand. Um, but yeah, so not too much happened there. Um, we did see that Go was like getting protein powders and stuff for the food she was making them, and the only one who liked them was Nagisa. um, But yeah, like again, I've tried some of those protein stuff. Like I used to go, my dad and I used to go to the gym pretty much every week. Um, and I would like sometimes get protein drinks there. And most of the time, mind you, I would get like Gatorades or whatnot. But I have tried the protein drinks and stuff, and I've tried different protein powders here and there, and it's like they're not that bad. I've even tried like protein bars and all. It's like they're not that bad. They're not like amazing. They're not great, but they're really not as bad as they were making it seem here. Unless Go just found a really bad one. Maybe she did. I don't know. But yeah, so there not really too much happened in that. It was mostly set up for a training regimen, them getting better and improving on themselves. And honestly, that seems to be a core theme with their club so far this season. Just improvement, and it goes back to Samehaza or again whatever it's called, as well. They're doing kind of the same thing, but there's more to them right now this season, and I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, Iwatobi, their core plan is definitely on improvement, like body improvement, training improvement, all of that stuff. Um, that seems to be their big focus right now. So then we go to Samehaza, and Reen and Sosuke are just continuing to kind of reforge their bond. We see some flashbacks from the past, see their competitive side with each other, um, and even how close they were. And as the series goes on as well, we find out, or the episode goes on as well, we find out more about them, their relationship as well, how they had different views growing up on swimming and how to swim, how to focus, and everything. That kind of, even though it didn't technically split them apart at first, it just, they kind of like, I don't know how to put it, like petered off from each other after a time. Granted, again, as I've said, Reen kind of did that with all his friends. He kind of as you said, he hit a wall in swimming, and on top of that, he became distant. He distanced himself, and we see them talk. We see them get to discuss things and really start to work through this. Um, and Sosuke kind of hammers in his idea at first about like focusing on solo, because that's his big thing. He believes that you should focus on your solo career rather than friends or whatnot, while Reen is the opposite. Though Reen probably would have agreed with him prior to being helped out by everyone in the first season. Um, but yeah, he definitely has grown. But yeah, so Reen basically tells him off. It's like saying, like, no, just no. You can have both. And it's like, it actually takes him aback, but then we see Sosuke really kind of open up. Something we really haven't seen him do, at least not to that degree. We see him open up and not only say that he wants to join Reen's team, but admit that he's not as sure as he used to be about the path he wants to take as a swimmer. That he's not as sure as he used to be that flying solo is the right thing. And that he's willing to give this a try to see what Reen sees in it. And that's really good. That's great development in and of itself. And I'm really interested to see how this goes. Um, they race for it. They put it up to the decision of a race, and Sosuke wins. But more importantly, he impresses Reen. Reen like sees the passion and the drive that he has for that. And that's what he wants. And so he enacts a new rule for the relays with the team. It's like, if you want to join the relay, you can. It's as simple as that. It's not going to be based on times anymore. It's not going to be like, oh, if you get this certain time, yeah, you're going to be in the relay. No, it's only if you want to be from here on out. And honestly, it's as he said, it might be risky. It might be risking their win. But in the end, I agree with him that it's the smart decision. It's the best decision. And yeah, so I'm all for it. um, but yeah, it's like there was also some fun stuff this episode, such as the one guy fawning over Go constantly at the shop, and everything like with that. But it was mostly those two big things on each side that the episode was definitely focused around. So yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see where this all goes, and I think it's going to lead to some really good stuff later on in the season. And excuse me, honestly, I'm really excited for that. I'm excited to see what more they do with Sosuke, because he seems like he's kind of fulfilling the role of the antagonist of this season. Like he's not bad. He's not a bad guy, but he's definitely kind of fulfilling the role as an antagonist with his attitude towards um, the Iwatobi friends, and just the way he's even been like pushing at Reen a little bit. So yeah, it's almost kind of painting him that way, like in the same way that Reen was the antagonist of the first season. Again, not a bad guy, just the way he's pushing back against everyone. Um, so yeah, I'd like to see where this heads. I'd like to see what they do with this and how long they take to resolve this. If it will take the entire season or not. But either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Free Season 2. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.